Right. Hello, everyone. We're almost 2 minutes past 9 a.m. Indian time. Welcome to those who have joined today's session. Depending on where you are, good morning or good evening. We are Spark Mentoring, and today's session is going to be focused on writing executive level business cases. For those who are joining for the first time, Spark is a mentoring initiative where we provide resources on career guidance, further studies. Several other sessions that we have hosted are focused on helping you improve your peripheral and professional skill set. We've conducted a number of workshops and sessions across, the past few months, spanning topics ranging from, getting your MBA to thinking about how to write an SOP to, considering different countries for your MS or PhD or MBAs and just various fields that are focused on academia or just unconventional paths and life of various professional careers that might be out there for you. So do spend some time looking at our website, www.sparkmentoring.info. You can go there and take a look at all of the programs that we have to offer, all of the sessions that we have held over the past few months. There are live recordings that are available, and you can utilize them, take a look at them, leverage them to help expand your skill set if you haven't already. They are for free, so please take the time to use it. For those who don't know me, my name is Natu. I am one of the program directors for Spark, focused on the Achieve module that you see right in the middle, which is kind of what's bringing you today's session that's focused on writing business cases. But Spark has a number of other modules as well, as you see on your screen, ranging from mentorship through to career guidance, different kinds of courses, and even ways in which we can improve our communication skills. I do want to call out Engage and Empower. So starting with Engage, which is our one-on-one mentorship program. I'm pleased to announce that we've gone ahead and finished wrapping up our first cohort of mentors and mentees. It's been extremely successful. We've received very positive feedback from both mentors and mentees, and we will be launching the next cohort, I believe, in March. So again, visit our website if you'd like to participate in being a mentee. Please sign up. I cannot stress how important having mentors in your life is. I've been fortunate to be, paired up with multiple great mentors throughout my career, and I wish I had access to them, during my undergrad days. I think all of us on the panel today will agree that, we didn't have access to these resources. So do take the time to leverage this. It will prove useful. Trust us when we say that. I just want to also call out Empower that you see on the top right corner of your screen. Empower is focused on improving your communication skills. So we also wrapped up our first cohort focused on trying to improve your English language skills. So, this was an engaging 4-week workshop series where, students were paired up and tried to hone in on just expanding their command of the English language. Again, we're going to be launching our next cohort early next year, and please be on the lookout for participating in that, irrespective of where you are in your careers. I think it will be extremely helpful to sort of just learn some tips and tricks on how you can speak in a more compelling, succinct way. And for those of you who feel like this is a personal development goal, please take the time to leverage this. Our program directors, Akshat and Vasudev, have put in a lot of effort in trying to make this happen, and I've done a phenomenal job of compiling courses and resources. So do leverage these, and again, it will be absolutely helpful. With that, I'd like to switch gears to today's session, which is focused on writing executive level business cases. We have two wonderful speakers with us who also happen to be, my classmates from undergrad. So it's also nice to have them be with us here today. So thank you, Aditi and Anshu. I'm just going to introduce them, but I'm pretty sure, no words are going to do them justice, but I'll try my best. Aditi is a senior management consultant at EY. She graduated in the same cohort as I did from ICT in 2012. Got an MBA in marketing from SPGN in 2019. She's had about eight plus years of experience in sales transformation, marketing, omni-channel strategy, operating model design and implementation, and her projects have spanned multiple industries and countries. So again, extremely accomplished, hopped around a lot across different functions, and you'll see that in the way she's going to be speaking about business cases today. It's going to be extremely useful. In her free time, Aditi enjoys cooking, exploring theater, and playing poker. Next up, we have Anshu, who is a senior consultant at Capgemini Invent. She completed her undergrad as well in 2012, and then got her global MBA degree from SPGen in 2017. Anshu brings, vast experience in, again, various functions spanning product sales, supply chain, marketing, customer experience, you name it. She lives with her husband in Amsterdam and enjoys cooking, cycling, and running. So welcome again, Aditi and Anshu. It's a pleasure to have you all both speak on this topic today. And I can't wait to learn from the two of you, as I'm sure the students are also eagerly waiting. Before I pass the mic to Anshu to kick us off, just one more housekeeping item that I just want to bring to everyone's attention. I'm pretty sure you all are going to have questions as Aditi and Anshu are speaking to today's topic. So we will be taking questions today through Pigeonhole. So please log on to www.pigeonhole.at and enter the passcode 04TEC21, or you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen. And, feel free to send us your questions. The page is live. So, as you think about questions, keep the page open, put them in Pigeonhole. And at the end of the session, we're allocating about roughly 20 minutes. We will try and stick to that and, give you all time to answer the questions. So we will moderate that towards the ending. So please ask away and don't shy away. There are no stupid questions. All right, with that, I'm going to stop sharing and hand over the mic to Anshu. And Aditi or Anshu, if you want to start screen sharing, please go ahead.
Okay, Aditi, are you sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for that introduction, Nattu. And thank you for inviting us. And also, I appreciate the work that Spark Mentoring is doing. Because this is something that the students will find really helpful. I can't stress this enough. You already stressed it. The effort that you all put in this program is really commendable. Okay, now I would just say that I'm really happy to be here together with Aditi to shed some light on what is a business case, why do we need it, and how do we create them. So if you can go to the first slide. The slide of, yeah, okay, so the agenda for this session is that we first understand why do we need them, what exactly it is, and then we go through an exercise, an example that Aditi will walk you through so that you get hands-on experience on creating a business case. Okay, let's get started. Now, as you know and would agree that we live in a world full of problems. And our problems keep changing as we keep growing. So when we were small, we were students in ICT, for example, we had different kinds of problems. And as we grow up, now we are consultants. Our problems keep changing. And we have limited time and resources and also stakeholders to manage at different points in life. So when you are in ICT, for example, you had stakeholders like teachers, your dean, your parents, um, so, and you had a limited time for your exams, limited resources to study. So you have to keep managing all of these in yeah, different phases of life. And what that means is that we need to evaluate options and make decisions on taking the best way forward for ourselves. So giving you an example from the context that you're in, let's say you have two major exams coming up and there is no gap between the exams. And to the dean, it may look fine, but for you, it's a problem because you know that you need some preparation time in between. So you create a case to convince your dean that this isn't a good idea. You need to give a little bit of gap so we can study your access the resources that we want in order to understand and get the concepts they would like you to understand. Just to give you another example, there our generation has gone through this a lot, which is what if we want to do engineering or become a doctor. So again, you evaluate these options that, okay, are you good in biology or are you good in maths? Do you want to study for a longer time because MBBS takes a longer time to study? So all of these options you evaluate, you see the time and resources that you have, or you also convince your stakeholders, that is your parents, and then you take the best way forward. Similarly, companies or associates, they also create business cases to explain and to convince their executives, their stakeholders to follow a certain route because that would be beneficial for the company as a whole. And this could be beneficial in terms of revenue, in terms of growth, in terms of brand value, you name it. And well, you have to define it, of course. Um, okay, what is the other side to it? So what if you don't create a business case? What happens then? What happens is that you run into the risk of taking the route that you should never have been taken. So if you didn't give enough time on planning, on strategizing whether this is a good way to move forward or not, you run into the risk of yeah, going just a completely wrong direction. Also, what happens is that your management doesn't really appreciate the value of your projects. And basically, a business case is a logical storyline with which you buy into their decision-making power. Um, um, yeah, that's one. And the last one would be that the senior management would consider some your project to be a failure, even though you delivered them successfully, because business case generally gives you a 360 view, 360-degree view of taking the project. So it would show the management all the aspects clearly, like financial, the commitment, if there is a major disaster in terms of implementation, but not from your planning perspective, but just, like a downfall of the economic market. So this will just take care of all the aspects, and that you can define that it was all included in your planning. And it's not because yeah, something that you didn't plan for, but it yeah, the project was a success, but otherwise, yeah, there are environmental reasons that it could be considered as a failure. So you have to give a thought into it, and also convince your stakeholders that yeah, the storyline or the logical reason that you're giving for a particular direction is it makes sense. Now, just to give you recent examples, you must have heard about Paytm, Zomato, Nykaa, they going public, and how big was it? And of course, this didn't happen in one night, didn't happen in fortnight. Also, this took months and years of their hard work on making this business what it is now, and then taking the ownership, or taking the trust of the shareholders and the public to go public. So I create an IPO. Also, you have these examples on Maggie relaunching. They did a Target relaunch post getting shipped from the market. Netflix decided to go VOD. So you will find a lot of if you look at these business environments, you will find a lot of these cases that were made for months by consultants or by their strategy teams to make sure that the business is convinced on taking a good step forward. Okay, I won't spend much time on this. So now I would just quickly run through on what is a business case, and this would be theoretical for now, but then Aditi will walk you through the practicalities of it. So what is a business case? It's basically organizations, they turn their ideas or their problems into projects by means of a business case. um, and yeah, so that means that you have lots of problems for businesses. It could be a people related issue, it could be an operational related issue, and you always have, as a business, limited resources, limited time, and of course your stakeholders, and you have to make hard choices within those options that you're evaluating, and you have to explain to the stakeholders what the best route to go is. And yeah, what are the features of a business case? If you can click through, Aditi. Yeah, it's an insight into the analysis of a high level problem. So you go from the high level problem, which could be, okay, the sales is not increasing anymore. What could be the reason? Because the customers are not coming, because the CRM application doesn't work well. So we need to get a CRM application. And that means that we need to find vendors who provide these services and evaluate what are the advantages, disadvantages of those vendors application software is, and then see what the cost and the benefit is in that direction. So you go from the high level problem, cutting down to, okay, what do we need? How do we make sure that we implement it properly? It's a review of various options for addressing it. It's a rationale for the selection of a particular option. And it's to be done before a project has to be started. So it needs to be planned from end to end, right to the planning of how will it be implemented. And you will, so this is the one that we're presenting you now is a basic skeleton of a business case. But in every organization, whether in Aditi's or mine or somebody else's, there are always some variations that you will find. All companies, they have their own sort of a model that they follow, and they have their own frameworks. But what you're going to learn today is a very basic format of a business case. So now I will hand it over to Aditi to take you through the examples, or add a little bit of a background before she wants to start with the example. So over to you, Aditi.
Okay, thanks, Anshu. So guys, this is basically what comes out here is a very scientific way of making a decision in an organization or any scenario where you're looking for money, funding, approvals from multiple stakeholders. Business case is the way to go. So let's start. Before getting into breaking it down, let's just run with an example. I want all of you to imagine that you are currently working in an e-com website. Let's call that company X. Okay. Now you are a part of that company and you're in the strategy team. And your CEO just thinks that your e-com isn't giving enough sales and numbers need to get better. Otherwise, you will not get the next round of investment. Okay. With me? So a very typical problem that is there in the industry is that you do a startup, you are in an organization, and at some point of time, the company comes to a standstill. Paisa nahi ban raha, because at the end of the day, the thing that keeps the companies going is money. Money is sales. So at some point of time, your CEO thinks that your e-com website, example, Amazon, Flipkarts of the world, these are all e-com giants. You have your own website, which is of a medium level. You want to pick up funding. There's not enough sales and you are selling B2C products. And let's imagine that this is the scenario that we are running with to write the business case. Okay. Now you have to write a business case ki how to increase the sales numbers. And probably, if not the entire problem, you're going to make a difference in some parts of the problem and make a case to run with some project. Eventually, what happens is when you understand there is a problem, you have to solution it. So there are different ways that you can do it. Now let's break it down. Now that we are all on the same page, what is our problem? We basically work in company X. The CEO thinks that there are not enough numbers. He's telling me to come with a solution and get things done right. So I say, okay, what do I need to do? The first thing that you need to do in writing a business case is identify who are you talking to. Anshu mentioned in the first slide that you do a project really very well, but your management thinks that kuch fayda nahi hua. So what happens? You spend 1 year, 2 years doing a project, but then you realize that it has not yielded any numbers. Your management doesn't think. Eventually you did a successful project, but it is not going to affect your promotions. It's not going to affect your bonuses. So what's the point? So that is why the first set that needs to be aligned to your business case is the C-suite of your company. This is a very interesting thing because as and when you get more and more into writing crisper and exec level business cases, the audience is always the C-suite. So the CEOs, the CTOs, the CIOs, they are all somebody that you have to talk to and address in your business case. Okay. The next thing is that you have to have a sponsor. There has to be one single person in the organization who is responsible from the project from an executive level. That person is called a project sponsor. He approves the entire idea of business case to be presented. And then he is responsible for getting the funding to you, the money, the resources, and a team together. A team together is generally a cross-functional team. For example, if you want to start a website, can you alone as a marketing, so if I were to start a website, I have MBA marketing. Do I have the know-how to build a site? Do I have the know-how to do coding, developing? Do I have the know-how to put a journey together? Maybe not. So what do I need to do? Get a cross-functional delivery team together. This is again one of my most important stakeholder in this here. And the last is basically a PMO, a project management office. This will get more and more relevant as you move out, either in a technical or a non-technical role. Whatever you do has a PMO to it. You decide that you have to deliver a project or some activity in 9 months. You don't want that to become a Panchvarshiya Yojana. You don't want it to be like Government of India. You want a 9-month thing to be a 9-month thing. If it does not be a 9-month thing, what are you looking at? You're looking at cost leakage. You started with something that is not happening. So a PMO is put together to ensure that whatever you promise to do, set out to do, you're doing it on time. These are the stakeholders that ideally a project team has to address. Okay. First step to developing a business case, the big picture. A very strong example of this, I am sure that you guys must have heard this story growing up, Kuein ka Medhak. So he lives in a small well. He has not seen the world outside. He thinks this round walls around him is what the world is. That is exactly what you do not want to give the impression to your C-suite. You don't want to tell them, ki, okay, you think sales is not happening. You are sitting in some Bombay ka Matunga area and you think that is the world. Not like that. So you have to look at the entire big picture. You have to understand how big is the world out there. How is the growth happening? What is the broader understanding? So just to give a couple of examples, I am currently working with tractors right now. So the first thing that, a very similar thing. So the first thing I did, and to put a big picture together for my business case would be, ki today I am selling X number of tractors. The market of tractors last year was 10 lakh tractors. 10 lakh tractors got sold in 1 year, in entire year. This was across all the companies who are making and selling tractors. I, as a company, am selling 1 lakh tractors. So what is my market share? 1 lakh upon 10 lakh. Who is my next best competition? So I am, for example, a company called X. There is a Y company who's a market leader. Let's say Mahindra. They are selling 40% of the market share. So who's my competition that I am addressing to? That is Mahindra. They are selling 40%. Where are they selling? So I am strong in north of India. They are strong in south of India. Opportunity lies in south of India. If we make some initiatives there, it's going to yield better. That is basically the bigger picture. You don't stick to yourself. You look at how is the market moving. Now you also put in some numbers together. Okay, this will grow at a rate of 5%. You say, aaj 10 lakh ka market hai. Tomorrow it will become 50 lakhs. In 5 years, it will become 30 lakhs or 80 lakhs. So there has to be a continuous incremental value for you doing a project. You do a project, you start something, but the market is actually depleting. For example, touchpad phones. When the keypad, when the touch phones came into picture, there was no point of a company to invest or do something for the keypad phones because that market had to deplete. So similarly, you have to be very visionary in terms of how your big picture is going to be. So that is the point on big picture. Second thing is that you have to identify the real problem. So there are different ways of doing it. I'll just show you an example. Okay, so I'll just switch screens and take you to an Word document. So to identify the real problem, you can see my Word document, right? So to identify the real problem, you go around talking to people in the company, right? You just note it down and then you try to bucket it. I have just given an example here that we are back to our company X. We are an e-com portal. I go around talking to my sales guys. I go around talking to my business development guys. I go around talking to my customer relationship guys. So they tell me that customers are not buying. They are buying less amount because there are too many complaints. Then they say there is no place for us to track the coordinates of a customer. कि एक बार वो लेके गया, उसके बाद I do not have the history at one place. So if he's a repeat customer for the 5th time, I do not know how he has bought things, what he bought pehle. I do not know how to recommend. I don't know how to upsell, cross-sell, because there is no central repository for it. Okay, noted. Then they say that today also there is a lot of human dependency on issue redressal. So there are less people who come on site. Today, what is our biggest issue on website? We say ki we ask for something and then we are not able to return it. If you're not able to return it, we suddenly say, iska process theek nahi hai. So then if the process is not good, you go back to a site where, it's more robust. That's just human tendency, right? So you pick up this point also. Then you say that times are changing. You can't just keep selling sabun manjan on your site, now you need to, on one site, you need it to be a super app. You want to sell medicines also here. You do a pickup drop service also here. So, it has to talk to all the audience. Only then your sales will grow. You're very limited. This is something you pick up. Okay. You note it down. Then you say that your company is not able to retain people. Employees are not happy. They're leaving. And because of that, the customers are also not sticking, because eventually it's not 100%. There is a lot of customer relationship done through people. Okay. And then you say that today in the world, you also hear from people that there is very less bandwidth. So there is young generation who's coming and buying on the site. If you do not give them instantly answers they're looking for, they'll go away. So you think, okay, probably you need to have a chat option on the site itself. So you broadly realize that there are two real problems which are coming out. One is that there is a customer satisfaction issue, and the second is a online sales channel issue. Okay. Another way of also looking at this is basically aggregating and interviewing people and the stakeholders and all the people in the company and coming to a broad bucketing of the real issue. Another thing, which is a very typical approach as you move ahead in the industry, is that you have a why system. You ask 5 whys. You go to a person and say, okay, you need a system, you need a CRM system. So you want to move away the dependency, for example, from people to manage data of your customers. So you need a CRM system. CRM system is typically a software which is called customer relationship management software. You plug it in your platform, and the software then automates all the coordinates of the data of the customer at one place, and it will throw it up to you the moment you want it or when that customer comes to your site. So you go to somebody in an employee in the company, ask, why do you need a CRM system? He says, we need a way to track customer information. Ask why again. So we know what a customer activity is going on. You ask why again. They say it enables us to service customers and win businesses. And then you ask why again. They say to retain customers and win new ones. And then you ask why again. And they're like, that's how businesses make money. And then you realize this is another thing where your sales and profits would ideally go up. This is the thinking. So what you need to do is you need to tabulate all these things and come to a real problem. For the purpose of this, let us say we have identified 2 real problems in our company X. That is the customer satisfaction channel and an online sales channel problem. Okay, let's go back. The third thing you will do is you will develop a solutions framework. Now mind it, I said solutions and not one solution. The first step here would be to get all the solutions at one place. Why multiple solutions? Because generally the first solution is not always the right answer. How many of you think that एक बार में कुछ decide किया and the first thing you did was the most accurate and the best thing that could have been done? Not always. Second reason is that you need multiple solutions and then you need to analyze them, that whether one of them is the best fit to you or a mix of them. Sometimes you say, okay, X chahiye, okay, Y chahiye. And sometimes the solution is a little bit of X, a little bit of Y will just do the job. So that needs to happen. Ideally, how that happens in the industry is, and is a very integral part of your business case, is that what all solutions did you evaluate, and then what did you finalize to go ahead with, and why did you do it? Because again, think of it from a company CEO view. You cannot say कि मैंने ये सोचा है, ये करने से ऐसा profit हो जाएगा. You need to tell them no. We went, we engaged everybody, we identified the real problem. Then uske baad we sat down to really spend time on understanding ki what could be the possible solutions. We evaluated 5 or 6 of them. This is the detailing of them, and hence we think this is the right one to go ahead with. This what does this do is that it really inspires a lot of confidence from the management to give you that money to go ahead with doing with what you want to do. Let's look into detail at a solution framework development. This is one of the important and a very interesting parts of a business case. So generally how we do it in industry is that we do brainstorming sessions with the right set of people in the room. Who are the right set of people in the room? They are basically the SMEs. Your sponsor needs to be here for sure. You need to have SMEs. Who are the SMEs? SMEs are the subject matter experts. You may not be the expert at everything. You may not know everything. You need to leverage the people around you. You need to leverage the information and the kind of knowledge you have from the team working around you. So you will have domain SMEs. Here we are looking at a sales problem. So who would our domain SMEs be? Our domain SMEs would be probably the salesperson or a relationship manager who's managing everything manually right now in your system. It can be a tech SMEs who knows exactly where your website counts off. कितने cookies होते हैं, कितना क्या होता है कि when that website just gives up कि अब नहीं चल सकते. And the last is your product managers. They manage the products that you sell on the site. They know कि उनका कितना product कहाँ जाता है. They know that in your site which product sells more, which product sells less, which product has a pull. They've done a lot of research on these products, and they are ideally the right people to get into the room if you're looking at increasing the number. So you identify a set of people. Now, what happens here is that you have to make it very clear that at this point of time, you are only developing multiple solutions. You're not finalizing anything. How you should go about it is that you should have less than 10 people in the room. That includes you and your sponsor, because if you get too many people, you generally do not come up with most solutions. And then you have to do 4 areas of brainstorming. Now, let me again take you to a template that we generally follow. Okay, this is a brainstorming template. So we have got 2 problems, right, that we have identified. We have said there's an online sales channel problem and there is a customer satisfaction problem. These are the 2 real problems that we need to address. ये address कर दिया तो फिर हमारा sale will go up. So let's break it down. Now, in these places, you want to take out a problem and you need solutions, and you need solutions in 4 buckets. These are the 4 buckets here. I'll just increase the size. So then first thing that the people in the room, they have to do is that they have to give you the idea. Okay, in order to address this, there is an idea. Then you have to identify if this idea is implemented, does it solve your problem partially or does it solve your problem only completely? Only partially or completely? So because there may be some solutions who would be just like an end-to-end solution to a problem. Some would be, okay, they will probably solve 50% of your problem, 60% of your problem. So you need to capture that. Next thing you need to capture is the assumptions, risks, or issues with this particular solution. After that, you need to have a rough cost estimate. Rough cost estimate is not very difficult to have here because you've got the SMEs. These are the people who look into their specific things day in and day out. If you go and ask a developer, how much time does it take you to develop? That is an information handy with him. But if I ask you that how much time does it take to develop a software, you may not know. Similarly, if for R, I take myself back to ICT, If today you ask me that, how much time does it take to write a lab manual, like a textiles lab manual, I'm sure Anshu will have thoughts here. But I would say one day Anshu will be like, no, this won't take a day. This will take probably 10 days. So the person who's doing it has the knowledge of the details of it. Hence, you are getting a cross-functional team in place. And hence, they will give you this number that you're looking for here. Rough cost estimate. Eventually, when you do a business plan, this may go up, this may go down. But this is a ballpark that you must capture. Then you also do a solution bucketing. Solution bucketing is generally into 4 or 5 areas. It is a no constraint solution, as in you've got unlimited resources and unlimited money, then you will be able to do this solution. Else you have something, if you have no budget. You have no budget, but you still want to make changes with whatever you have, then what could be a solution? After that, there are 3 logical ones: low, medium, and high. So these are the 4 buckets that you need to capture in your brainstorming sessions. More advanced places, or some alternate words for this could be FGD, which is a focused group discussion. That is also something that solves a very similar problem. So let me give you an example here. So in order to increase online sales channel problem, they say, okay, just improve the quality of the content you put in. If you improve the quality of content, it will act as a hook for your people to stay better. So does this solve the problem? You say partially. Now, what is the assumption here? You assume that better content will bring better sales. So the person giving the solution may say that I stick around to Amazon because I think the content is really good. I see offers. I stick around to Paytm because the content is great. I get a scratch card, I get a coupon. Stick around on the website of Apple because it gives me complete information of what I want to read. If I want to buy this product, I'm selling a kidney, I'm buying like a 50 grand phone. It gives me all the information. So content is important. Content can be multifaceted. So that person says, okay, then what is the assumption that you need to do? You need to hire a new copywriter. That copywriter will charge 50,000 rupees per article, and you need at least 50 new articles. So you estimate around 25 lakhs ka cost if you kind of go ahead with this solution. Similarly, you put in at least 5 to 6 solutions and you detail it out like we just discussed in the 4 buckets that we have here. Very simple. It is just you have to ensure that you leverage the information of the people and knowledge of the people in the room to the best possible extent. You will get this one document at the end of a 3-hour meeting. We have done it in our companies and it works. You just have to ensure that people stick to the subject, people talk what you are asking them to, and the conversation doesn't go haywire. This is also called a focused group discussion. Okay. Next problem is a customer satisfaction problem. So a customer satisfaction problem, we identified that there is no central repository of all your customer data. There's a lot of human dependency. There are people who manage customer data. And if that person goes, you do not know who's been buying on your platform. So what is the solution to this? Somebody tells get a CRM system in place. What is a CRM system? It's a customer relationship management software. We just talked about this. So you get a solution. Now this is also going to solve your problem partially. It helps salespeople manage customer activity, give them a coordinated customer experience. So what happens is that when a customer comes on your platform and buys something, he gets a very customized treatment. If he is buying a tawa for the kitchen, you will not show him iPhone. You will show him other kitchen accessories because in all probability, that person is only interested in buying something there. So these are little things that a CRM system will do. It will give you pop-ups. You bought from this card last time. This is your save details. All of these things that make your activity on any platform that you buy on an Amazon or a Flipkart a very smooth process is a CRM system. And this is going to cost, for example, 10 lakhs. And it's a medium budget kind of a thing. So you tabulate a lot of things. You say that let's get a feedback portal of the customers. Let's get a senior person to act as a customer advocate role so that he keeps telling us what the customers are missing out. So this is a document that you develop. Okay. After you've developed this document, you need to understand that what will work and what will not work. Okay. This is the single most important thing of understanding what will work and what will not work. We've looked at the big picture, real problem, solution framework development. After you've identified and you've developed the solution framework, comes the most important part of writing your business case. That would be your cost benefit analysis. Just think of it at a very, very basic level. If you are putting your money into anything, you want to know ki tumhe kitna kharcha hua, what was the cost you incurred, and what is the monetary benefit you gained out of it. That is all eventually that you're looking for. Not just for a company. Let us talk about at our own level. So we buy a woodland jacket. One woodland jacket costs 7,000 rupees. Okay. This is not a decision that anybody makes on a whim. Okay. So while buying a woodland jacket, you are like, okay, it is costing me 7K today. But then I have to go on a Manali trip in December. So yeah, it will be useful to me. This is a benefit, definitely a very straightforward benefit. Woodland jacket comes with a warranty that it will work for me for 5 years. There is a coupon here. If something goes wrong with it, I can come back and claim it. Benefit, at least an assurance ki 5 years tak to ye chalega. You do not need to change it every 1 year, 2 year. Benefit. So eventually, if you look at the cost and you use that thing for 5 years and it after depreciation, if it is of the right benefit to you, this is how you think in your head. Companies also think like that in their own head. Imagine even for I think a technical this thing. For example, we do a lot of, we are a part of a lot of events in the college, right? We look at how do we put what amount of money are we putting in the project or some event that we are conducting. And once we do it, what is the count of money that will come out of it? So that is the most important thing a companies look for. Ki bhaiya, at the end of the project and after how many years will I have got enough money that the project would have paid for itself? This is the language which is used by the company people. Ki in how much time will the project have paid for itself? आज मैं 10 लाख रुपए डालता हूँ, कितने टाइम बाद मुझे मुनाफा चालू हो जाएगा? Will this not be a complete goner? So there's a very simple template for a cost benefit analysis. It sounds financial right now, I know, but trust me, if you do it once, after that you can whip up a cost benefit analysis even in your sleep. It's that simple. So let's look at a cost benefit analysis template. Okay. So this right here is the cost. I'm going back to the problems, the solution that I had developed. So one of the solution was that get new content for the website. Okay. So I've got new content for the website here. And I'm putting the cost. Now cost is that I have to get a content writer, right? So the content writer costs me 6,000 rupees a month. Okay. Now, if he costs me 6,000 rupees a month and I get him here for 12 months, as in full year, what happens to me at the end of the year? I am spending 72,000 rupees on this guy. He's a one-time guy. Uske baad, this is the guy who's going to come and put a revamped content on my website. Okay. He's done that. Now, uske baad, then he goes away after 1 year and changing the website. I need somebody to manage it. This has to be like an ongoing thing. I have to manage this guy, the content that he's developed. There has to be somebody to manage it. There has to be somebody to take it ahead. It's not a one-time activity. So you have a PT content writer, which costs you 2,000 rupees monthly, and you have it for 3 years, 3 months, till the time everything gets settled. So again, this is the cost that comes to you in year 0, then year 1, year 2, and year 3. Now, again, you have to always remember, you have to look at it at a year-on-year basis. You have to look at your cost, that the year that you are doing your project, you call it year 0. Then you move to year 1, then you move to year 2, and then you move to year 3. Okay. And it depends completely on you. You want to make it a 3-year kind of a ROI thing, or you want to make it a 5-year thing. So currently we have looked at 3-year here. So this is the cost that is coming to you. Now, what do you understand here? In any type of a project, you have to take care of 2 costs. That is what we see here. One is a one-time cost, which is just at the time of project. And the second is a recurring cost, that on account of this project being done, there is some recurring cost which has been added, which will come to you every year as long as that asset is there with you. This is called the operating cost. The cost which comes year on year, this is the operating cost. Operating that particular asset that you build, uska kya kharcha ho raha hai har saal. This is your cost, okay? Now let us look at the benefits. Now here you have to really get into the market and to the game. I am saying that this is a website. If I put in better content, I will get extra revenue. How do you quantify? How do you say that the extra revenue is 48,600 rupees only? This is a simple, so this is where you need to put your mind in. This is where you need to think through. You need to take help from the SMEs and look at data. Data analytics is the key to getting to this number. So I'll tell you, and it is very simple, very straightforward. See what I've done here. I'm saying at a monthly level, if I increase, if I make content better, I'm going to get 5,000 extra visitors on my website. This analysis you already have. If you have a website, there is already a person sitting there who's tracking how many people visited your website. I'm saying with better content, I'm going to have 5,000 extra people. And I am saying that out of these 5,000 extra people, I'm going to convert 2 of them, as in 2 of the people who are browsing through my website are going to end up buying something on it. So what is the number of people buying from 5,000 extra visiting per month? 100 people. So I'm saying 100 people are going to come and buy products on my website on account of a new content which is coming up here. Now, I also look at sale per customer. Sale per customer is basically the average of a per customer sale data that you have with you over a period of time. You do not change that data because your products are not changing right now. So if your sale per customer, for example, if one person is coming on the website, he's spending 486 rupees, he'll keep spending that amount of money, even for a new customer. So the total additional sale that you will generate is right here. And this is exactly the number that you have taken here, 48,600 per month. If this is per month, then what is going to be your yearly into 12? So this is the money incremental that you will start making after you make a content change in your year 0, which is your project. So year 1, you've got 5,83,000 of extra money. Year 2 also you'll get, and year 3 also you'll get. Now what happens here? Let's put the cost and the benefit together to calculate ROI. ROI is nothing but it is benefits divided by cost minus 1. It's a percentage. As simple as that. Benefits upon cost minus 1. Okay. So here in year 0, you've got only costs. You've got no benefit. So you've got an ROI of minus 100%. In year 1 itself, you start making benefits because your costs are gone. You've got very less recurring cost, but you've got benefits which are coming up. So basically what you're saying is that your ROI turns positive in year 1 itself. That means this is your break-even point. Break-even point as defined is defined as a simple time when your ROI turns positive from negative, as in the cumulative benefits are greater than the cumulative cost. Let's take another example. We were talking about getting a software, a CRM system into place. This is the example of a CRM system that we've put together. Okay. Similar thing, this is a software. As you will go out, you'll see that nowadays, since COVID has happened, there is a huge wave of digital transformation happening in the industry. People want to revamp their softwares. If they do not have a software, they want to put a software. They are trying to make everything as contactless as possible. And that contactless is not just limited to things you won't believe, but people like BMW, people like even where I work, tractors, they are trying to get into getting virtual showrooms too. So, how can they sell automotive 5 lakh, 6 lakh cars through an online platform? So this is where the industry is headed. So that is how a digital wave has swept the system. So when it comes to a digital kind of an asset being made, we discussed that one of the solutions that we have for customer satisfaction is a CRM system. So we start putting costs, same template. Part 1 is the cost. When you're putting a CRM system, you have to buy a software. Okay. So buying a software costs how much you've put it together. Hardware infra will cost how much you've put it together. Okay. Now the first time implementation, you will need a manager project manager who will implement this software for you. You'll need a BA who will help in the development. And then there'll be people who will be doing actual development. They will be there only while this is getting implemented. After that, it is the operating cost. To keep it up and running, what amount of support you need, right? So you put the software together, you put the entire costing together in terms of people, software, and hardware for your system. And then you look at the benefits. You tabulate the benefits that because I have a CRM system in place, because I can talk to my customers better without a human interaction, I'm going to get an increased revenue. You tabulate the increased revenue and you do the same drill. Put the cost together, put the benefit together. Year 0, you are at minus 100% because you've not started availing the benefit of the investment that you're doing. At year 2, you're from minus 100% to minus 67%. Year 3, year 2, you're at minus 1%. And year 3, you break even at 45%. So basically, third year, you break even. And after that, it's always going to be positive. So this is when the project will start paying for itself. Okay. So this is in very simple words, a cost benefit analysis tells you तुमने कितना खर्चा किया, उसका कितना फायदा हुआ, and कब हुआ. And this is something you need to tabulate in your business plan as a backup document. Now, this has to be developed for every single solution that you have finalized. Here you've got for your online sales channel problem, you've got 5 solutions. So nevertheless to say, you need to have a sheet like this, a cost benefit sheet for each of these problems. Each line item converts to a table like this. Okay. Each line item converts to a table where you split the cost, you split the benefit, and you keep a summary of ROI on the top. So 10 solutions, 10 cost benefit analysis tables side by side. That is the 5th thing that you look for. I'll go back here. So let's start again. We looked at the big picture. Where are we playing at? What is the universe like? What is the prospects in the future like? We understand that there is merit, there is scope in doing this. We understand the real problem. What is the real problem? What is the noise and what is not the noise? What needs to be addressed? You look at a solutions framework development. You do an FGD, you do a brainstorming session. You get all the solutions in one table. All the solutions have another sheet of a cost benefit analysis, cost incurred over the gains made, the time taken, and the break-even point of the project. If you've got 10 solutions, you've got 10 CBA tables. If you've got 5 solutions, you've got 5 CBA tables. If you've got 1 solution, you've got 1 CBA table. But then we discussed that it is always meritorious to have more number of solutions because the first one may not always be the best one. You may want to look into merging 2 or 3. Now you've got the solutions, you've got CBA of each. What do you do? What do you do next? Next thing that you do is you decide that what is the thing to go ahead with. That is again a very simple table. It's called a weighted decision table. Customer satisfaction program. These were the solutions that we had come up with. Improve the quality, introduce a chatbot feature, better content and chat. So this I've done is that I've mixed 1 and 2. If you do both of things together, then what is going to be the score? You give a score to each of them. Okay. The solutions that you came up with, you put them in an Excel and you decide a priority for each of them. This priority is generally done by the project sponsor. Okay. The project sponsor will tell you that in his mind, what is the priority for each of them. This can also be done from a poll or kind of a feedback form from everybody so that you can come up with a very logical number or weightages. Now here, there are 4 or 5 buckets which are both tangible and intangible on basis of which you need to do a scoring. So the first thing is alignment with developing online sales channel strategy. This is the main thing that you want to do. So how aligned is this option to this goal that you're trying to achieve? Alignment with increasing customer satisfaction. How aligned is this solution to getting this? What is the ROI? You've just calculated ROI in your cost benefit analysis. How fast are you breaking even? Now you remember in content, we were breaking even in 1 year. In CRM, we are breaking even in 3 years. So faster break even kahan ho raha hai? Because companies also look at kitna jaldi paisa milega, right? Fast time is the key. So this is a very important part, and eventually everything in a company in our situation is going to be led by the sales department. So how sales department friendly is? So here there is a priority which is defined. For each of these solutions, the same group has to, in an unbiased way, given polls and weightages. ROI is calculated basis the cost benefit analysis. It gets plugged in here. And then there is a simple scoring that comes here. Simple scoring is a formula. So the priority into the score received plus priority into the score received plus priority into the score received for each of these 5 buckets. I'll pause and I'll repeat. We decided a set of solutions. We want to decide what is the best one to go ahead with. We've calculated this ROI in our cost benefit analysis table. We've got 4 other things that we think are the most important to make this business decision. Alignment to an online sales channel strategy, increasing customer satisfaction, because these are the 2 real problems that we had identified in the beginning. So how aligned is each of these solutions to my bigger problems? How fast am I going to get the money? What I'm going to get, how fast I'm going to get, and how easy it is going to be. Simple 5 things. And once I get a score to each of them, this entire table is called a weighted decision table. You do not just go with whim, ki acha lag raha hai, isme zyada logon ne bola tha. No, everything has to be mathematical. A similar thing you also do for your second problem statement, alignment with your customer satisfaction strategy. Here also you see you said that you'll make improvements, you're going to have customer appreciation events, you're going to set up a customer feedback portal, you do a CRM system. So again, here you see in giving the scores, looking at the ROIs and looking at everything, highest score comes to CRM system. So these are the 2 tables you have ready. Okay. So here you have already done your cost benefit analysis and you have done a weighted decision table. There are some things which are called the intangibles, which also come into picture. What is an intangible? Happy, satisfied customer. How do you measure a happy, satisfied customer? Se kitna fayda hoga? Is it going to help your sales? Yes. How do you measure it? Don't really know. It's intangible. How do you measure your happiness? How do you measure your satisfaction? If you have a brand loyalty towards something, abhi I say meko Sunsilk shampoo chahiye, to I will use only Sunsilk shampoo. I go around, if I don't get it, I wait, I go to another shop, I go to a different shop, but I want to have that Sunsilk shampoo. How do you measure that kind of loyalty? How does Sunsilk measure that this customer is very loyal to me? Generally, you can't. But in purposes of your business case, these are very important intangibles, and you have to look at how you include them here. So let's look at a small example as to how we can tackle intangibles. This is an example here. There is a project A, which costs $250,000, 300,000 benefits, ROI is 20%. Project B is same cost, benefits is less, plus happy customers. 12% ROI basis the number. How can you quantify this happy customers? Is it not important? Should you just ignore it and go ahead with the numbers? Or you want to put a monetary value to your happy customers? So there are different ways of doing it. The best way is that you go around and again look into the data and the most closest proxy to putting a number here. So here I'm giving you an example of how you can go ahead in a situation like this. Let's just go back to a e-com website. I know if I have an e-com website, I have the option to give a rating, right? So a rating could be a 3 rating, a rating could be a 4 rating, or a rating could be a 1 rating or a 2 rating. So for example, I identify that there is a possibility, there is a window. I have a lot of customers with a 3 rating. And I know that in that area, I have converted people to a 4 rating, and there are at least 15% of the customers. 15% customers hain, jinko I can impact, jinko I can touch, and I can improve their ratings from 3 to 4. Now, my historical marketing data is telling me that a 4 rating customer on his every purchase is spending $1,661. A 3 rating customer is spending $486. So if I were to convert this 15% customers to a 4 rating customers, the share of wallet that I have with them will also grow. I'll just repeat. If I work on customer satisfaction, if I were to make my customers happy and spend money into making them happy, then they are expected to spend more money per visit on my platform than they are already doing. And this is the proof. My historic data is the proof. So how do I make it tangible? I say, okay, 52 customers is 15% of the customers. I'm going to increase their rating. Now, if I impact 52 customers, which is approximately 15%, then I get $1,175 from each of these customers. Hence, the total revenue becomes 61,000. Does this remain untangible anymore? From your historic data, you are logically able to analyze and come to a number for intangible. Now, here is something you'll have to sit, use your brain, look at data, look at analytics, talk to people, and make a logical summary and a logical path to finding a number to this. Because if you just go and say, I think so, to the management, you're asking for 1 crore rupees on basis of I think so, will not fly. So you need to be most in the system. You need to be ingrained in your data. You need to be ingrained to understand that what will work here. So now you have a number here. Your table changes now. Plug it into your ROI calculation. Your project A was giving you 20%. Your project B was giving you 12% plus happy customers. Plug in the 61K that you got here. Now your ROI for project B goes to 36%. You have a clear winner now. Why? Because you've taken into account intangibles. So I'll go back to the slides. Intangibles is a very, very powerful place, for making changes. If there are happy customers, if you have a strong brand loyalty, it going ahead really helps you, sell better, create more money. Another very good example of a brand loyalty would be just a car, just a simple car. Today, if you were to go and buy an MG Hector versus a Maruti Suzuki, just from the brand recall, what do you think that you will be willing to shell out more money? You go to buy a Raga, you go to Titan. Let's take watches. Everybody wears watches. Buy a Fast Track. When you're going to buy a Fast Track, you know that, okay, you're going to spend like 2K, not more than that. Go and buy a Titan Raga, studded with Swarovski crystals, same company, both a startup. But then again, you're willing to spend more for a Raga. Why? Because a brand image has been created. Does that happen in one day? No. It happens over a period of many years. And that is, and somebody must have written a business case like 20 years back for Raga that, this is how you need to spend money. And this is why you need to spend money. And maybe in 10 years, you'll start getting these benefits. Somebody must have written a business case for, Mercedes long back. Make it an aspirational car. Don't make a Suzuki. Make it an aspirational car. So somebody must have written a business case then and included all of these points there. And that is how you count in intangibles. Very important and a very powerful aspect. Last but not least, there is a risk assessment factor. You want to understand the dependencies. If you are getting a new software, you need to look into what are the licensing you need, how much time do you need, you have a SaaS-based model or you've got its own model, what development is going to happen, what are the assumptions you are taking, what are the timelines you're looking at, what will not work on time, which will ideally cause your project to just flow out of proportion. This risk assessment also you need to put together along with all of this data that you've done. So what have we done here? Let's go back to our company X again. Here company X, our sale is not happening. We look at the bigger picture ki theek hai, e-commerce is the future. Ye badh raha hai aage. This is the future. Idhar hi sab kuch hona hai. Idhar, this is a good place to, go ahead and spend money in. Why? Because this is going to grow at a rate of 12% year on year till at least 2025. The internet penetration is going to go up by 52%. The penetration is going to not just happen in youth, but also happen in the age group of 50 to 60. So all these things constitute your bigger picture. You've put that in place. You've seen the real problem. 2 real problems you identified by talking to people and doing a root cause analysis. You understood that there are 2 problems. One is increasing the sales, which is a sales generation kind of a thing. And the second is a customer relation type of thing. These are the two real problems in the company. You come up, you do a focus group discussion, you do a brainstorming session, you put together the right people in a room, and you develop solutions over 4 areas of brainstorming. For each of the solutions that you have, you do a cost benefit analysis and you do a weighted decision tree to understand which is better than the other. You find the break even for all of them. 5 solutions, you have 5 CBAs, 10 solutions, you have 10 CBAs. You try to factor in the intangibles. और क्या benefit आएगा? Happy customers, happy employees, you plug that in. After that, you do a risk assessment. These are the things which can ideally put it on risk. And you communicate this to this team of 4 stakeholders. This is in summary a basic business case component. ये 6 चीजें हुई, तो you're at a decent place to have a business case with you. Okay. This is not absolute, like Anshu mentioned in the beginning also, different companies have their own different templates. But whatever the template would be, if you're writing a business case, you have to tell them, where are you doing? What are you doing? What is the problem? And उस problem का जो तुम solution दे रहे हो, उसका इतना मुनाफा होगा, इतने time में होगा, इतना risk है. If you are covering these things, ideally you are a good place to go with your business case. Okay. A very logical succession of a business case is a business plan. Most of the time, you need to have snippets of your business plan also ready while you're presenting the business case. For example, you need to show a pura timeline, ki kitna time you're expecting. Because if you want to run a project for 5 years, C-suite may not be really interested. You know, a CEO may have a tenure of 3 years. You'll be like, I am approving money. You're telling me after 5 years, I'm not interested. Do something in 9 months. So all of these things are then going to be put in your business plan. Okay. So this is in summary a business case. Now let me just show you, if I put all of them together, what will a draft business case look like? Okay. So one of our solutions here was that we'll get a customer relationship management system implemented here. Okay. One of the leaders in market, this is just Gyan, that the top provider of a CRM system in market is a company called SFDC. It's called Salesforce.com. They are the market leaders. Uske alawa, now there are many companies, homegrown companies, which are coming up. A few of them would be Freshworks. So these are the ones who are coming up. They have a ready system. You approach them, they'll come with you with a ready solution. They'll work on integrating it. And it's as simple as that. So this is my business case. This is just something we put together. This is whatever we discussed. We are company X. We are running a customer satisfaction program. Okay. First thing you need to have is the content. This is everything that we discussed. What is the summary? What is the problem? What is the strategic environment? What are the solutions we consider? This is basically the brainstorming session that you did. Then you detail each of these solutions. For each of the solution, you show the cost benefit analysis, you show the timeline, you show the assumptions, and you show the risks. These are all the things that we covered in our slide. Now I am going to talk about the summary, about the industry. So I put in some context in place. This is the industry. India is increasingly shopping online. E-commerce is emerging as a focus channel. I'm telling about the industry. So remember that context about koi ka made up. Here I'm making my company believe that I'm not that. I know the world. I know what is happening. I'm telling them that this is the demographics I'm addressing. These are the enablers. There is going to be an increase in the internet users. So there is merit if we do this. Smartphone users are going to grow. There is merit. Penetration is going to go by 50%. Hence, there is merit. E-commerce will reach approximately $35 billion industry. So this, yes, we are not going the wrong way. We are not doing something wrong. We are going with the right flow. We're going with the changes in the industry. So put together these numbers through market research. This is basically the summary, first part of it. We tell them that this is what is happening. This is how the people are changing. This is how mindsets are changing. What is mattering to people? What is attracting to people? What are the differentiators? Timely deliveries, good return policy. It is all somewhere coming back to your happy customers, happy customers. Satisfaction index. This is exactly what your case is about. And here you are also making a big point that people buy online as customer satisfaction over brick and mortar buying is the key today. So you made a case that you want to get a CRM system in place. Okay. Then you do a problem summary. You are saying that currently you do not have a CRM system. You manage everything through people, relationship managers. They have no consistent way of managing relationships. So what is happening? There is lost sale, there is poor customer experience, there are inconsistent level of services, there are inefficiencies, there's bad revenue, bad growth. And then after that, you are saying that if you put in a CRM system, it's going to highlight sales opportunities, create opportunities for customer engagement, enhance customer views of the firm and the brand, and all these things. Then again, you are talking about the problem a little more, that there's an ad hoc approach to customer and management. This is how you put together everything that you've collected, talking to people. Talk about the strategic environment, that here we have to increase the customer satisfaction. So once you've got that in place, you talk about all the solutions that you've considered and why you come to a CRM system. So here, ideally, what works is that you talk about other solutions, the ordering of the solutions, you be very mindful. The ones which were not that great, you put on top, the low score which came in your weighted decision table. So you say that, okay, for customer relationship and customer satisfaction, we considered a couple of things. But then eventually we thought that developing a CRM system is the best way because it has the best ROI. So this is where you've put in all your things that you've brainstormed and you've put it as solutions considered. Here you will, the backup document will be your brainstorming data and everything. You move ahead, then you detail the solution. This is exactly what you've done for your CRM system. You've done a cost benefit analysis. Everything that you've done here, I've put here just to give little more visibility. I've put this table also, that this is a key component when you're talking to them about the CRM system. Here, the backup document will be your cost benefit analysis of all these other solutions also that you would consider. Once you've got this in place, you put a timeline, you put an assumption, you say that, okay, this is going to be an agile development process. Agile development process is that you go back, you see what has not worked, recurring and iterative process. Then uske baad you put in a timeline, you put in your assumptions, you put in your risks, and you also say that what do you want to do to minimize risk. So then eventually everything that you've done and all the exercises you've done culminates into a document like this with multiple backup Excels and multiple research data that you've done. But this is the summary document which will emerge out of all the good work that you've done and following that 6 steps that we discussed. All the good work that you do there, this will be the crux of it all, put together in a small document like this. I'll share this document with you later through Nattu. He'll socialize this document and you can go through it at leisure, and you could go through all the Excels and the templates and everything in detail. But here it is just to give you a small flavor as to what it will look like and what will emerge. So it's already 10:14. I've been doing a monologue. I think this pretty much covers most of it. I'll go back here, and Anshu, if you will want to do the closing.
Yeah, I think that was really nice, Aditi. And for all of you audience, I can say that this is the best toolkit you can have to start writing a business case yourself. You can formulate your own hypothesis for a company that you are interested in and practice it by doing secondary research, or just trying it out, just using it hands-on. I think Aditi walked us through in every detail with every part of the business case. And yeah, definitely try it on because this is going to help you when you start your journey in a company. So yeah, that's all from me.
There's a small 2 cents on us trying to be funny for those who don't.
This just made me burst out after this is fantastic.
Over to you, Nattu. I think I took 4 minutes extra than the promised time, but yeah.
No worries. Thank you so much, Aditi and Anshu. I mean, I think this was absolutely fantastic. Probably one of the most comprehensive summaries of how to write a business case. So thank you for that. I hope the other participants also found this as valuable as I did. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Again, just a reminder, please ask your questions. Now's the time. We're going to be doing Q&A now for the remaining 15 odd minutes. So please, go to pigeonhole.com and put in the code 04 DEC21 and ask away, right? I think this is the perfect time to go ahead and ask questions. All right, so before we wrap up, let's just look at the questions that we're getting so far. I'm just gonna pull this up. All right, I think the first question that we got was around, what are some good resources for doing market research and how do you actually go about doing it? Aditi or Anshu?
Anshu, go ahead.
Yeah, so you can find this on Google. There is market. There is a lot of different kind of. You can also find it on press releases. There are multiple options of doing market research, and well, you will have to find your own way. There is, and for companies, they also have publications that they subscribe to. That you can use, but there is also like association. So if you're, for example, looking for a rubber tire industry and you want to do market research, you can just look for associations on rubber tires. They would have a lot of data, like Indian Association of Tires, or there would be also state-wise different kinds of association that you can also look for. So there are multiple ways of doing market research. There's no, let's say, a set in stone way of describing it. Aditi, you have anything you want to add?
I'll just say there are 2-3 things that I do when I'm doing research, because in consulting, research is the key. So I'll divide your question into two things. One is if you want to do a financial research of a company, you want to understand what is the financial health of a company, so that you can pitch them. Ki abhi aap aisa kar rahe ho, now 3 years later, this is the logical path for you to go. Company doing already in losses, you can't say that you'll turn around in 1 year, right? So the best place is that if it is a listed company, please go and look at their annual reports. That's a gold mine of information. Okay, you look at their 2-3 years ka or 5 years ka cash flow statement, because cash flow statement is the truth. That will tell you where is the money coming and where it is going. So the kind of insight that will give. And uske baad, when you start reading an annual report, don't miss out the gyan on top. Usme kahin pe in snippets, you will get some amazing information, and that will be the key to your research. So that is financial. Apart from that, if you don't want to go through the annual reports, you've got ready sites like Capitaline databases, things like that. These are free. Baki, there's Money Control and all these places where you should do financial research, but Capitaline databases, these are the places where I go to. If you want to understand market research, ki industry kaise chal raha hai, what is the prospects, then there are also some paid places like MS. Now, EY has, I am an EY. So yahan pe we have access to all these resources, but even when I don't, generally 1 or 2 times you can put in a free your ID and get some reports. So there are a few places which have these details handy, which is like MS. MS is something that I go to. It has all kinds of market data. Any industry you pick, it will have some reports or some publications as to how is the market moving. Apart from that, going back to what Anshu said, there are associations, there is Google, and then there is always Google. Yeah. But always bifurcate your research. What is financial and what is non-financial, and then look at the right places.
And then there's also, again, what we use in the US typically around, just things like Statista or, Factiva. There's also, Forrester and Gartner. So there are actually a bunch of like market research companies that specifically publish reports on industry trends and market trends, right? So again, like Aditi and Anshu mentioned, Google is your best friend. You will be overwhelmed if you type what you're looking for. And it's just about weeding through the junk that's out there and actually coming up with, data that you want to, actually sort of believe, right? And you actually see that has some credibility, because gyan to everyone gives, right? In some way.
Look at publications of consulting firms. Generally, they've done a lot of work to put a document together.
Yeah, like Capgemini has it, EY has it. All these consulting firms, they have publications coming out.
And white papers,
Yeah.
All right. what is competitive benchmarking and how do you do it to arrive at the real problem? So Aditi, I think you had this on, your slide around trying to define the real problem under 5 whys. We didn't really talk about competitive benchmarking. Would you be able to shed some light on that?
Yeah, sure. So competitive benchmarking is one of the things you do immediately after, that's step number 2. Yeah, when you're identifying the real problem, you do competitive benchmarking. Let me explain via an example. Okay. Let's say that you're selling something. Let's just say I'll go back to what I'm doing right now. Currently, I'm selling tractors. Okay, from my system. So if I am, let us say, selling tractors of an escorts, first thing you need to do is you need to break down the industry. Okay. So I gave this example in the beginning. That's why I'm going back to it right now. I am, for example, a company called Escorts. Okay. What is your biggest competition in tractors? Mahindra and Mahindra. Okay. Write that down. That is step. What is your second competition then? John Deere. Write it down. Eicher. Write it down. Uske baad Escorts. Write it down. Now, put in how is their market share divided. This information is available. Like, for example, there's an industry of 10 lakh tractors. Mahindra and Mahindra has 40% share. Escorts has like 12% share. Sonalika has 10% share. This is your column number 2. Okay. Then your third thing is that how have they been growing year on year. Okay. So where do you get this from? Again, annual reports. You will get to know what is their growth rates. Plug in the growth rates. This is basically a very simplistic template. Now, a competitive benchmarking in a simplistic term is कि कितना market share है, क्या growth हो रहा है, right? But then this has to be really targeted to the question that you're trying to answer. Now, for example, आप बोल रहे हो कि आप नया website बनाओगे, ठीक है? So then in that case, after doing these 3 columns, you need to put down the features that each of them have, and if you don't have it, okay? So I'll share a template for that too. It's a very standard template, but just to tell you, for example, if I'm making a website, I would want to say, okay, I do not have something right now. Mahindra has this. So that's a tick for Mahindra. Sonalika does not have that feature. Eicher does not have that feature. I have that feature. A tick. So in a competitive scenario of 5 players who have 80% of the market and have been growing in double digits over 5 years, one of their products that you are trying to get into power with them as hygiene, these are the 3 people who have it and 2 people who do not have it. List all the things that you find there. Make a column at the end of it where you say that, okay, for example, there is a product comparator. You've seen on Amazon, you can put 3 things side by side and you can compare. So similarly, you should be able to compare a tractor also. So you do it for each of them. Okay. For there's a comparator, let us say out of 5, 3 people have it. Uske baad have a column at the end ki say which is the best one for you as a user on the internet. कि तुमने देखा कि 2 के पास तो था ही नहीं, 3 के पास था, 3 में से महिंद्रा का सबसे अच्छा था. Capture that in your table. So this is essentially a competitive benchmarking table where you are looking for a specific answer. 3 things that you should always have is the name of your competition, the market share they have, and the growth that they are doing year on year. After that, the benchmarking that you are doing for what purpose. You need to always define an objective before doing any exercise. Your objective is build a website. Okay. These are the 10 things, 10 features. Kiske paas hai, kiske paas nahi hai. Spend some time, 3 hours, go around everybody's website, do a benchmarking, create a table, and when this table will emerge out to you, you will realize that this is in one slide, in one table, it's giving you all the information that you want for benchmarking. Uske baad you can always go and say, okay, this is probably an EMI calculator. Charo ke paas hai, mere paas nahi hai. So this is definitely something I need to have on my website. Okay, so ये 4 के पास नहीं है, मेरे पास नहीं है, मुझे ये लाना है वेबसाइट पे. Now, of the 4 who have it, let us say John Deere has the best one. It is the most easy to use. It's the most user friendly. So this is my best benchmark in the industry. This is what you do for each of the parameters that you've shortlisted. Again, do not get into this exercise without an objective. Once you do it, tabulate. 3 things should definitely be there. वो 40% share hai, growing at a double digit, they're doing something right? Try to see what you can do. Then you do a benchmarking and then you pick and choose. So this is how you create a competitive benchmarking table. Predecessor is define objective. Why are you doing it? So I hope awesome. I've come close to answering a question. What I'll also do is that we have a template for benchmarking. I'll just share it across with Nattu to socialize it.
That'd be super helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Aditi. All right. How do you factor in the impact of satisfied employees in the ROI analysis?
Anshu, you want to take it? Or should I?
I think she's asking you to take it.
Yeah. Go
See,
ahead.
I think the best way of looking at it is looking at your attrition rate. Why do you leave your company? You do analysis of the attrition rate. Like just I told you, happy customers आप कैसे measure करोगे? You look at the ratings that they've been giving you, right? So let us
Yep.
say you do a project. You are saying that I will improve employee satisfaction in my company. I think that the best data point to measure the impact of satisfied employees in ROI analysis is looking at your attrition rates. 5 साल पहले, if you had an attrition rate of 60%, then it went to 70%. Abhi your company is really struggling with retaining employees. You do an exercise, and within 3 years, if you can bring the attrition rate down to a 20% or a 30%, I think you've done a good job. People leaving the company is the direct indication or direct number, numerical indication of a satisfied employee or not. If you're satisfied in a company, why would you go? I'm telling you, I was in a company when I just started out, me and Anshu were actually together, and people were so happy that they were there for 30 years. I mean, my boss was 25 years into the system. So, I mean, I would take that as a proxy of being a really satisfied employee. And then I went to another company, and average years was 3 years. 3 साल से ज़्यादा कोई टिकता ही नहीं. So I would think कि भैया, not very satisfied employees. So this is the proxy that you should use. But this is one of my thoughts, which works well. If you think that something in your scenario works well, you could go ahead with it. But this is an example.
Yeah, and I think also just sort of take back to the 5 whys, right? Like, why is churn
Absolutely.
important in some way, right? That gets important primarily because you're going to have to deal with hiring new employees, train them, hope that they actually succeed, and then stay for longer and then help grow the product or whatever you're trying to do, right? So
Absolutely.
the bottom line is that you still have to retain your employees primarily because they are the ones who are going to help your product base grow. Otherwise, people can make a case that you hire people continuously, even if they leave in 2 years, big deal, we just keep hiring talent, right? So you
That's a
have to draw some
strategy.
parallel. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just have to draw a
correct.
parallel and see what works for your company base at that
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely. So because your question, so this is an example. How can you factor in impact and ROI? Yeah.
Brilliant. Awesome. I think we have one more question. So what is the approximate time taken to come up with a holistic business case like the one that you just shared? Thank you, Aditya, for asking this question.
Anshu, you want to take it or?
Yeah, I think it takes it depends on the resources, because market research and this is the creating the whole business case is a really big activity. So if you have 5 people on creating business case, then you would take lesser time than compared to one person doing it. So it depends on the resources for sure, and how big is the objective. So like Aditi already defined, like there were 2 problems in the X company that she presented. So how big is the objective, or how detailed you can find out. So yeah, it depends on the resources, but in general, I would say 6 to 8 weeks is a benchmark timeline for from the client given to the consultants, that they come up with a sort of a business case, so that they can decide, because there are options always for these companies and they need to decide it faster, because the economy moves really fast and they also have to take decisions. And like also Aditi mentioned, that nowadays digital transformation is happening rapidly, and if you miss the bus, then your competitor will take it, and they will grow faster than you. So yeah, for me, I would say in our company, 6 to 8 weeks. Aditi, you want to add something?
No, I think this is the benchmark that you and I run with.
Yeah, I will say in the industry, things are a little slower often, right? And that's it's just the consulting model, right? I mean, it's just a high pressure environment typically.
Yeah.
So we typically have anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks, but that's mostly in line with what Anshu and Aditi were sharing, right? I mean, it's a little slower on the industry side of things, mostly because people are confused and don't know what they want.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's that's a fair benchmark. I think 6 to 12 weeks on average would probably be the time that it takes. And again, absolutely depends on resources, absolutely depends on scope. of the problem you're trying to solve for. If it's a massive business case, there might be multiple pieces to it that you just have to break and then chunk it out. I've actually had a business case take 8 months. I mean, business cases is kind of 40% of my life in my current role. So evaluating and writing. So there was one that ended up taking 8 months. It was a massive business case, and people just couldn't come to terms with accepting that this was the right path forward, right? So that also takes some time. Like getting buy-in from your
Exactly.
stakeholders is a big part of the business case that often gets overlooked.
Yeah, exactly. So
But yeah, brilliant
I
question.
can imagine that you could have 5 to 8 iterations to one business case,
Yeah,
because of
yeah,
which
we
it
had,
takes
yeah,
like 8 months or so.
yeah, we had 12 iterations to that business case. And at that point, I'm like, is this even a business case anymore? um, no, but on average, I would say 6 to 8 to 12 weeks would probably be fair. All right. I think that those are the only questions we got. Does anyone have any other questions that come to mind? If anyone's still, um, on our call and would want to sort of maybe unmute, um, feel free to do so and ask your questions. And if not, we can wrap this up in a minute or two. All right, I'll take silence as no for a bit. Let me just go ahead and wrap this up. If anyone has any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to us at our email address. We can get answers from Aditi and Anshu. Thankfully, they've been helpful along the way, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have, specifically as you sort of begin to read the resources that they will be sharing with us. So thank you once again, Aditi and Anshu. I think this was a phenomenal session, very comprehensive on how to do business cases, how to think about business cases, because people, again, often overlook that piece. Just being able to structure your thoughts and mind around how to write and align, I think were my biggest takeaways. And the piece around being able to sort of use data-driven decisioning, because again, typically I've seen in companies, it's often the loudest person who gets the most money in some ways, right? So being able to actually come up with a data driven way to make decisions, data doesn't lie, right? And it's probably the best approach that we have. So I love the framework. We use very similar model, and it's pretty common across the board. I mean, it's slightly different, but it's at the core. It's very similar. You sort of have a summary. You sort of speak to why, you explain the what, and then you explain the how of what you're doing. And then you get into the business plan portion, which comes after a business case, which is the details of the when and executing and all of that fun stuff, right? So thank you. It was absolutely wonderful. And thank you for being willing to share the resources. Before we wrap up, I wanted to also thank the Spark mentoring team, the ICT social media team. They've been extremely helpful in putting the word out there and getting, participants and likes on our videos and things like that. One small, wrap up comment before we head for the holidays in a few weeks. Big shout out to Amar, Anu, and the rest of the Spark team. We've done a phenomenal job, I think, this year in sort of putting ourselves out there, having a bunch of sessions. We've done about 16 odd sessions, ranging from, like I mentioned in the beginning, career options through to what life looks like as a consultant, through to unconventional paths, right? And I think we've sort of checked the number of boxes. We still have a long way to go, and we want to be here to help you all out. So please help us help you. It's the only way we can get better. So do check out our website. Do check out the YouTube channel that Amar just posted in the chat. We will continue to have sessions, but we would also like for you all to also share with us what you would like to see, right? So if anyone wants to take a few seconds to maybe even type out in the chat window what kinds of sessions or topics they would want to see from us in the future, we would be more than happy to consider it, because I know, as soon as things get over, you want to sort of go back to your own life, and often the feedback form feels like one other thing that you have to deal with, right? So if you can, please take the time to fill out the feedback form. It only takes 20 seconds, but if not, please, type in the chat window and we will absolutely consider your request to include certain sessions. Other than that, I mean, check out our website, be on the lookout for a bunch of posts from us on content. We will have a lot more sessions in the future, not just from Achieve, but from the rest of the Spark modules. And happy holidays in case we don't all get to connect in some way. And thank you once again, Amar, Anshu, Aditi, and Anu, and everyone else who's helped put this together, and all the participants who have taken out the time on a Saturday morning to join and attend.